10 people were killed and 38 wounded in mass shootings across the U.S. This is Undiluted News. Mikey Bones reporting. 10 people were killed and 38 wounded in a mass shooting in Philadelphia, Baltimore, and Fort Worth ahead of the 4th of July holiday, officials said, prompting a fresh call from President Joe Biden to pass gun control legislation. In Fort Worth, 3 people were killed and 8 wounded in a mass shooting after a local festival to mark the U.S. Independence Day holiday, police said on Tuesday. In a separate mass shooting in Philadelphia on Monday evening, 5 persons were killed and 2 were wounded, including a 2-year-old and a 13-year-old boy, both of whom were shot in the legs. And this is when a suspect in body armor and armed with an AR-15 opened fire on strangers, according to local police. The Monday night shooting came a day after 2 people were shot dead and 28 injured, about half of them children, in a hail of gunfire at a neighborhood block party in Baltimore. The motive in all 3 recent shootings remain unclear. There have been about 340 mass shootings in the U.S. so far in 2023. And just last night, there were 5 shootings right here in the Bronx with 1 person dead. People use the July 4th celebration with fireworks going off to mask their shootings, because gun shooting and fireworks have similar sound. And Jamaica is no better, as from about Thursday of last week to Monday of this week, there were probably about 20 killings. Assistant Commissioner of Police in Jamaica, Clifford Chambers, commanding officer for the Area 1 Police, has revealed that there has been a reduction in murders in some western parishes, and this is arising from the use of the state of emergency as a crime-fighting tool. This measure is currently in effect in the parish of St. James and Westmoreland. On Sunday, ACP Chambers said that the police in both parishes have been seeing a reduction in major crimes. He admitted, however, that there are some sections of Westmoreland not previously identified as crime hotspots that are now showing an increase in criminal activity. According to the Jamaica Constabulary Force, over the period January 1st of this year to June 24th of this year, the St. James Police Division recorded the highest number of murders across all police divisions, with a total of 97 killings. And this is nevertheless a reduction in comparison with the corresponding period last year, when there were 111. Westmoreland recorded the second highest numbers of murders for the same period this year, with a total of 57 such killings against 72 for the corresponding period in 2022. And for the first 6 months of the year, police have also seized 370 illegal firearms and arrested 565 shutters. The problem is, of the 565 people who they have taken into custody, only maybe about 20 will go to jail. 2 men are now facing multiple charges following a holdup at a taxi stand on Ken Hill Drive in St. Andrew on June 15. 22-year-old Tevin Foster, otherwise called Rain or Beer, and 30-year-old Enika Simit, also known as Caution or Emmy, have been slapped with charges of robbery with aggravation, unauthorized possession of a prohibited weapon, unauthorized possession of ammunition, and using a firearm to commit a felony. It is said that the 2 men held up a group of taximen and then fled in a motor vehicle. However, the taximen decided to give chase, and the thieves crashed into a vehicle driven by a policeman at the intersection of Woodlawn Avenue and Mullines Road. The thieves then tried to flee, but were cornered by the cabbies, who helped the police to capture them. And I am sure that some of these thieves get a few uppercut and a couple left jabs as well. Meanwhile, the St. Andrew South Police have increased their presence in the Waterhouse community following a flare-up of violence. Deputy Superintendent of Police Damian Mandison, acting head of the St. Andrew South Police Division, said that rival gangs from Balcom Drive and 440 Drive have been trading bullets, leading to the death of several persons. The police on Monday released the names of 12 persons of interest. DSP Mandison said the Balcom Drive and 440 Drive areas have been plagued with increased gang activities over the last 4 to 6 weeks, and the police believe that these men can help with their investigations and asking that they turn themselves in. The police and military are now maintaining a strong presence along sections of Spanish Town Road following separate gun attacks on Sunday, which left 3 people dead and a third hospitalized in serious condition. The attacks occurred in an area known as Bowtie Lane at 82.5 Spanish Town Road. In the first incident, which occurred about 3:45 p.m., 20-year-old Shakira Thomas and 21-year-old Tyler Taylor were fatally shot by men armed with handguns and rifles. More than 15 spent shells were found at the scene. Deputy Superintendent of Police Damian Madison, acting head of the St. Andrew South Police Division, said that the attacks are linked to an ongoing gang conflict. The third victim, a 26-year-old bartender, was shot in the head at a bar. Madison said a prime suspect known as Babyface was held on Monday, but he's concerned that the relatives of rival gang members have become targets in this conflict. And this was evident Monday when a woman who is a relative of one of the suspects was attacked and fatally shot along Wantam Park Road. The SP Madison said the police are searching for one of the suspects who they consider to be one of the main players in the gang conflict. His relatives are also being targeted by rival gangsters. And it is like this: if they can't catch you and they catch a member of the family, then that family is dead. And as a result, a businesswoman was killed in a gun attack on Delamare Avenue in St. Andrew on Monday morning. The deceased has been identified as Stephanie R. Browning, a hair salon operator. She is not involved in any gang, but is said to be a family member of one of the gangsters. And reports are that about 11:45 in the morning, the mother of four was on her way to pick up her 3-year-old son from school when she was attacked by unknown assailants who opened gunfire, hitting her. Meanwhile, the man hired to kill banker Andrea Lowe Garwood during a church service in Trelawney 2 years ago has pleaded guilty to the murder. Dwight Bingham pleaded guilty on Monday at his trial. He also pleaded guilty to illegal possession of firearm for the shooting inside the Agape Christian Fellowship Church, which claimed the life of Miss Lowe Garwood. Bingham is now scheduled to be sentenced on July 25th. And he's the second person to plead guilty in connection with the January 30, 2021 incident that made national headlines. Leon Hines, the driver of the vehicle in which Bingham escaped, is serving a 6-year sentence for illegal possession of firearm after he also entered a guilty plea. Prosecutors disclosed in court on Monday that Bingham was seated behind Lowe Garwood inside the church. He shot her 4 times before fleeing from the church and hopping into a waiting car that was being driven by Hines. His cellular phone, however, fell to the ground as he fled the scene. That is Jaworks right there, so. Miss Lowe Garwood's stepson, Javan Garwood, is the third person facing criminal charges for his alleged involvement in this killing. So the killing apparently was set up by her stepson. On to sports. St. Elizabeth will get a Premier League team for the first time in over 40 years, while St. Anne will have 2 teams in the competition for the first time since mid-1990s, when the likes of Black Stars and Volvo were among the top teams in the country. St. Elizabeth's Treasure Beach FC, they advanced 2-0 on aggregate after playing out a 0-0 draw in the first game with True Juice at Bramwell Clark Sports Complex in Everton, while Limehall beat Racing United 4-3 on penalties at Draxall after they played out a 4-4 on aggregate. Both Treasure Beach and Limehall will now make it to the Jamaica Premier League. Meanwhile, in Gold Cup action, we had 4 games yesterday. Guatemala eked out a 3-2 victory over Guadeloupe, while Canada beat Cuba 4-2. Guatemala will now buck up into the Reggae Boys on Sunday, and it definitely will be their last game in this competition. Mark my word. Canada will also be playing their last game when they meet the United States on Sunday, because there is no way they will be able to beat the United States. In the other 2 games, we have Costa Rica beating Martinique 6-4 in a very high-scoring game, and we also had Panama and El Salvador playing out a 2-all draw. So Panama has now qualified after winning that zone, and Costa Rica is second place in that Group C. So Martinique and El Salvador are out. And that's going to be news and sports on your favorite community radio. My name is Mikey Bones. I gone.